Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So there has been a lot of false information online lately and on social media about a 50-year agreement between the US and Saudi Arabia requiring the latter to price its oil export in US dollar had recently expired. The collapse of the accord would inevitably deal a fatal blow to the US dollar status as the de facto global reserve currency, various commentators on X opine. Surely financial upheaval lay ahead. Well, this is not true and is a little bit of a misinformation. All right. So I've made several videos on this topic. The US dollar will collapse. I mean, it is inevitable. When that happens, there will be chaos, poverty, violence. Politicians and the media will play their divisive games. I mean, it's going to be ugly. And maybe from the ashes, something new will rise in its place. But the US is currently printing $1 trillion every 100 days just to satisfy the interest on the debt. Okay. Will the collapse happen tomorrow or next year? I don't think so. But I believe it will happen sooner than most of these economists are predicting. Now, with all that being said, let's get back to the Saudi US dollar deal. There has never been an official agreement between the US and Saudi Arabia requiring oil sales to be conducted exclusively in US dollars. Like the term petrodollar refers to the practice of oil exporting countries selling oil in US dollars and then investing those dollars in US assets, mainly treasury bonds. But this is not based on a formal treaty. This petrodollar system was formally established on June 8, 1974, by a joint statement issued and signed by then Henry Kissinger, the U.S. Secretary of State at the time, and the Prince Fahd, the second deputy prime minister, and later king, and then prime minister of Saudi Arabia. According to a report found on Government Accountability Office websites, this was not a petrodollar agreement, but rather a broader economic cooperation initiative. You see, the rationale for such an agreement came on the heels of the 1973 OPEC oil embargo. Both the US and Saudi Arabia were eager to flesh out a more formal arrangement that would ensure each side got more of what it wanted from the other. The surge in oil prices following OPEC embargo was leaving Saudi Arabia with a surplus of dollars, and the kingdom leadership was eager to harness this wealth to further industrialize its economy beyond the oil sector. At the same time, the U.S. wanted to strengthen its then nascent diplomatic relationship with Saudi Arabia while encouraging the country to recycle its dollars back in the U.S. economy. See, that was quite genius because that move right there made the United States the wealthiest nation in history. I mean, it was quite genius tying your dollars, tying your currency into a commodity that the world needs and uses. So that was quite a move there on Henry Kissinger's part. But Washington also wanted to ensure there wouldn't be a repeat of the 1973 embargo, which sparked a destabilizing wave of inflation and an economic and stock market crash. Perhaps the closest thing to a petrodollar deal was a secret agreement between the US and Saudi Arabia reached in late 1974, which promised military aid and equipment in exchange for the kingdom investing billions of dollars of its oil sales proceeds in US treasuries. Today, Saudi Arabia continues to price and sell oil primarily in US dollars. While they have expressed openness to use other currencies for some transaction, this does not represent a fundamental shift away from the dollar. Now, here's the far more interesting question. Does Saudi Arabia change the currency in which it holds its reserve, which at the moment is majority dollar? In recent months, Saudi Arabia has announced that it wants to join the BRICS alliance. If accepted into the bloc, which it most likely will be, Saudi Arabia can start holding reserves in other currencies, reducing the use of US dollars in trades and investment. This will indeed devalue the dollar, causing inflation the likes we've never seen before. I mean, seriously, guys, the American people are not prepared for what is to come. Legendary investor Ray Dalio wrote an op-ed on this topic talking about when the dollar collapsed, civil war and chaos and so on. I'll do a separate video on that one. But for now, the global oil trade infrastructure, including financing, transportation, and insurance, remains heavily dollar dominated. Changing this would be a very complex and lengthy process. While some countries are exploring alternatives to the US dollar for international trade, this is a gradual process and does not represent an immediate threat to the dollar's global reserve currency status. As the dust began to settle in the following weeks, a new global financial order started to take shape. China's yuan gained prominence in international trade, while talks of a new BRICS currency accelerated. The US dollar, while diminished, remained an important part of the global financial system, but its unchallenged supremacy was clearly a thing of the past. The Saudi decision not to renew the petrodollar agreement marked a turning point in global economic history. While the full ramification will take years to fully materialize, one thing was clear: the world's financial landscape had been irrevocably altered, ushering in a new era of multipolarity and uncertainty in global finance. That is going to be all for today, guys. If you find value in this video, please share it on social media, like, and subscribe for more content. I'll see you soon. Thank you.